We are back in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, this time to do a bit of irresponsible, dangerous flying around the Grand Canyon, which you can see right in front of you here. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube showing off the ferries with wing sellotape to them, known as passenger jets, but not so many of people flying the more nimble aircraft. So fasten your seatbelts, get your sick bags out, and let's do a bit of dangerous flying. Welcome back to the Gamer Muscle YouTube channel. Click that like button and subscribe if you enjoy simulator content. So, here we go. Grand Canyon. Extra 330 LT. A nice, nimble plane. It's so nimble, in fact, that if I just put in 1 mil of input on the flight stick, look at that. Tiny, tiny bit of input, and we're doing almost a 360 no-scope. Look. But absolutely awesomely responsive plane, and hopefully this video will be a nice demonstration of the sort of flight dynamics with these smaller aircraft. You know, as I say, the big aircraft are fun. It's fun doing a nice train simulator-like trip across the Atlantic and dying of old age, but let's be real. The smaller the plane, the bigger the testes, and that's where the fun is with flying. So let's get into that canyon, let's roll it in, and let's try not to hit the hillsides. But thank you, by the way, everyone that's signed your waivers so that you can't sue me, or your family can't sue me, after you've been vaporized against the side of the Grand Canyon. They're never going to recover the bodies anyway, because it's too expensive. Here we go. Drive into these. Let's go for this little hole here. That looks nice. Might have to wingle the wings sideways. Oh, there we go. It's nice and smooth. So, yeah, this plane is super, super snappy. Super responsive. Look at the little GPS display here. Look at that. We can fly by the screen. Don't even need to look out. That's technology for you. Why? We're like simulating the simulation here. This is simulation inception. Okay, there is a bit. There we go. Look at that. Whoa. Okay, the screen's not as accurate as the other simulated view outside the cockpit. Real planes need to start using Microsoft Flight Simulator so they can fly when it's foggy with perfect accuracy. Look at this, going through the walls here. And yeah, so I mean, this plane is perfectly happy flying upside down. It does a really nice, so the nice thing with this plane is it will kind of snap out of the roll for you. So if you push it into the roll, and then you let go of the joystick in terms of letting it just recenter, the plane will very smoothly almost ease itself out, which is what you'd expect, you know, because at the speeds that we're traveling here, air acts very much like water, you know. And if you were in a swimming pool and you push against water and you add force with your hand against the water, you know, initially it moves and then it kind of cushions, and in a very nice smooth motion your hand will kind of tween out of its movement into a stationary position. That's very much what you get with aircraft. Obviously, fluid dynamics, something I know absolutely nothing about, but I can say words that make me sound like I kind of know what I'm talking about. So look at that. We rotate it. Now it snaps in. So you'll notice when you watch air displays with these types of aircraft that, you know, they do these sort of snap maneuvers, and they're very satisfying to watch. You can also apply a bit of counter stick to bring it out of the bring it out of the roll even quicker, and it's really hard to actually do that in a way that's really precise and on point, in a way that doesn't cause you to undercompensate or overcompensate. And that's a good sign for the dynamics in a flight simulator. It means you've got a bit of depth there. It means you've got something to play with and something to actually get better at, as opposed to it being a bit brick-like some of the older flight sims. Actually, newer flight sims aren't too bad for this. I mean, X-Plane 11's really good flight dynamics, I find, with smaller aircraft. And, you know, like Aerofly, again, really good flight dynamics. But the older flight sims, original Microsoft Flight Sim, please don't kill me, Microsoft, definitely had a very kind of brick-like plane being towed by a string nature to smaller aircraft, I found. I think the large aircraft were really nice in it, especially the mod aircraft, but, you know, for smaller aircraft they didn't really tickle my pickle, but this sort of thing does, and it's absolutely fantastic. So let's do some more rolls. Let's fly upside down close to the ground. Whoa! See, I caught myself out there. Woo! Okay. Oh no! Recovered! Whoa! your tree! Okay, so you see what happened there? A totally, really good demonstration there. 100% in control. Let me just get some toilet paper to clear that stain up. What happened there was I threw it into the rotation too quickly, which then caused an immediate stall and, you know, slip and wonk of the entire airframe. Not good, not happy, and potentially fatal, but not because I'm a very good pilot. You might argue a good pilot wouldn't do that in the first place, but, you know, it was obviously a demonstration. So that shows you how the value of actually being precise and gentle on the inputs. If you over-egg the inputs, you will really disturb the flow of air over the wings and effectively get a stall in a situation where you would never really get a stall. So look at that. This plane is so happy flying upside down. It's more happy flying the right way round, but it's very happy flying upside down, which is always good with planes, you know. Incidentally, as much stick as I give passenger jets, assuming it's not loaded up with too many passengers and baggage, you can fly them upside down. Even with passengers and baggage, actually, if you do a neutral roll and you're very careful, you're a very good test pilot, you could still do a roll. Because from the plane's perspective, if you're holding 1G, the plane, it doesn't know. It thinks it's still flying the right way around. It's got 1G on it. It's all relative. But, yeah, this plane, you can absolutely abuse it. Let's get in that canyon. Let's flick it around there. Let's fly down here. Whoa! Man, there'd be vomit all over this cockpit. We'd need like a squeegee cloth, a ShamWow, to keep the glass clean. They haven't simulated that. Microsoft, what are you playing at? We need cockpit vomit simulation. Really nice things. You can totally build up the roll speeds. Look at that. Try not to do that whilst flying into a wall. Really love the audio in this, the creaking of the airframe and the wind as you do different maneuvers really immerses you and really reminds you that you're in, you know, you're floating. You're floating in a rather small tin can that is affected by the environment around you. Obviously, we're doing very extreme stuff here, but you especially notice it if you do more turbulent flying and you get the sudden little buffets of wind in this, and you're like, oh, that was a nice... Even though it's just audio and you're not using a motion rig, you're like, oh, that was nice. That's actually quite compelling. Let's do a loop-de-loop here, guys. I'm getting a bit of height. Look at the terrain looks nice. Get a bit of height. We'll do a loop-de-loop. And then what I'm going to do... And we'll go to a third-person view, chase cam, like real pilots do. They have a GoPro on a piece of string behind the plane. And we will look at the plane flying from the third person. Because even though it's not realistic, it looks fantastic. Right, here we go. Look at this. That's a rift and a half in the ground. Imagine if you were an explorer of the United States. You've come here for the first time from the UK. You're like, I hate the British government. I'm going to America. Only to be rejected in the future. But you come to the America... Before they throw the tea in the water. Still not forgiving you for that, Americans. Stop watching this video. Get out of it. I forgive you, really. Despite you being coffee drinking infidels, I forgive you. But yeah, imagine walking over this terrain and you're like walking along, you're happy, and then out of nowhere it's Grand Canyon. You're like, well, I ain't got a bridge that can get across that. Horses aren't going to be able to jump that gap. Well, maybe they could jump some of the gaps. Not that gap though, that's like 300-400 foot. You'd have to be Evel Knievel on a motorised horse to get across that. But, you know, just imagine that. I'm getting a bit distracted here. We're supposed to be doing stunt flying, but it's one of the things I like about flight sims with photo terrain is, you know, you can really appreciate geography, geology, all the G's, Ali G. You can appreciate it all in one go whilst also enjoying flying and playing a game. Loop the loop time! Jesus! Gamer muscle, shut up. Right, power off. Power down. Nose down. We're going to loop into this confluence of the canyons. Why am I doing that? I don't know, my wings can't even fit there. We should have enough momentum to loop that easily. This plane. Look at that. And then we'll come back down. Whee! Oh my god! It's a little bit tight. A little bit tight there. Whoa! Hill! Oh, we can get deeper than that. Let's go right down here. Whoa! Okay. Whoa, it's a tight corner! It's like trying to drive an F1 track in an aeroplane. Don't worry, we'll be doing that at some point. There we go. It's opened up a bit there. Let's get right down there. Look at this. It's got to be the best way to experience the Grand Canyon. On the left, on the right. Whoa, and let's not throw it into the stall like we did before. Beautiful, we found the water. Let's get right down into that water. Come on.
Going to 124.2 extra X-ray.
Absolutely. Look at that. Look at the environmental fog as we get right down here. Look at the lighting change. Really nice sort of global illumination effect there as we get into the shade of the canyon. Could do with a bit more height on my camera. I can't see where I'm going. Look at that. The cockpit's been illuminated by the green of the hillsides as well. Look at that. It's awesome. Oh, dear. I mean, I don't think you'd be legally allowed to do this in real life. I mean, maybe if you... I mean, you know, maybe if you borrowed you're terminally ill, you borrow a plane and you happen to find yourself in the Grand Canyon. That's probably the only chance you'll ever get to do this sort of thing. But fortunately, with flight sims, you can just do it whatever you feel like. This is the amazing thing with flight sims. Water looks really nice as well. Just look how it's picking up the reflection of the hillsides. A little bit of shimmer there. I'd love to kayak along this. Might be a bit warm, and there's not going to be many. We'd have to be kitted up. We'd have to have a burner, some water, a couple of tea bags. You know, a nice sandwich. Not many supply stops in the Grand Canyon. You know, it's the kind of place where you'd really want an ice cream. Anyway, let's get back up here. Let's go in the air, and then let's go to the chase cam. Let's go to the correct chase cam. There we go. So have a look at the dynamics here. This isn't technically like a full-on stunt plane. I mean, you know, any plane's a stunt plane if you fly them hard enough. But this, you know, this is a two-seater aircraft. Wheels are always deployed. I guess if you set up, we're pretty packed of fuel here. Oh no, actually, we were pretty low on the fuel. If you low on the fuel with a lot of planes, you know, the fuel weighs a lot. Changes the dynamics quite a lot, and you've actually that's another thing you notice with this. But look at that. Look at how they play. So I'll try and hold it disorientated there. Try and hold the aircraft steady. It's all back to front from this view. Bloody hell. Okay. Whoa, he's trying to topple over. Whoa, yeah, look at that. It's really hard to balance that. It's trying to topple a bit. So, and this is on pretty stable weather here. But you can see how it's been buffeted around. There we go. Look at that. It's so nice and subtle. The different air currents obviously correspond to the canyons and how that's affecting the wind in the game. This is like totally calm weather here. We will do some super turbulent flying. Oh, but look how it's lit. This is how Australians fly planes, by the way, guys. I was actually thinking earlier, if you fly a plane all the way around the Earth, well, it doesn't matter what plane it is, like say you do a world flight in a passenger jet, you go all the way around the Earth, have you technically not done a single inverted loop-the-loop? I mean, you have really, haven't you? These are the kind of things that keep me up at night, and as a result, I don't have a life. So here we go. Let's go into the canyon from chase view. Oh, look at that. It's so gorgeous. I mean, the combination of terrain with physics. I mean, you do notice some texture stretching here, but this, you know, this hasn't been hand doctored. This is all, again, it's just big maps and then height map projections. It's fantastic. And the Grand Canyon is so grand. A bit of a geographic anomaly there. It's so grand, it goes on seemingly forever. I think, you know, when you see the Grand Canyon in pictures and what have you, oh, that's a nice lens flare. You tend to... J.J. Abrams! Go away, get out of my simulator! You tend to only see the Grand Canyon from those traditional Grand Canyon viewpoint spots, you know, the famous ones. So it's really nice to actually load them up in maps and flight sims like this, and, you know, really appreciate the total insanity scale of the Grand Canyon. Look at that. Amazing what water can do over millions, if not, well, hundreds of millions of years. Although, of course, we all know the Earth is flat and only 3 days old. Something like that. Let's get out of the canyon here. Let's do some more loops. Let's hug this wall. That's nice. Half the time you're playing this, the whole bloody game looks like some kind of pre-rendered screenshot. I mean, look at that. It looks even better because I'm playing this on a 35-inch wide 100Hz gaming monitor. It's just like, it just looks... I mean, you know, I have to stop commenting on graphics because it's shallow, guys. It's like talking to a you know, if you meet a very good-looking lady or man, depending which way you go, and you keep talking about how good-looking they are, even if they are good-looking, you know, it's just annoying. No one ever says I'm good-looking, though. Right, here we go. Oh, they do, actually, all the time. They're like, oh, you look gorgeous, and then they're actually like, oh, no, it's my reflection in your bold forehead. I'm like, it's okay, that's what I'm here for. Look at this, it looks like The Rock. Not The Rock, the movie star, the wrestler. It looks like The Rock from that film, Close Encounters. I sound really old there. There's probably so many people watching this that are like, what is that film? If you've not seen... Is it Close Encounters of the Third Kind? If you've not seen that, it's a bloody classic. Absolutely amazing film. That was when films were totally amazing. Didn't need any lens flares in that. Right, we're going back in the canyon here, and then we're going to draw a close to this, but, you know, hopefully you can see that the flight dynamics of these little nimble craft are just fantastic fun. This kind of thing, I could just fly around like this forever, just trying to get closer and closer and seeing how much I can push it, and at what point my wings no longer function because I've removed them from the aircraft. I mean, they probably still function, but not in any useful form for flight. You know, so... Whoa, that was close. Now, I've heard from the developer said that when it comes to water and even the ground, you can soft contact the ground as long as you do it gently enough. Not at 170 knots. If you do it gently enough, you will get away with it because they wanted to allow people to be able to do like those stall flying, and obviously it's got water landing in this simulator, so you know you have to be able to contact things, and then obviously you can have pretty hard landings in real life that you can walk away from. As I say, any landing in which your passengers are still breathing is a good landing. I mean, they might not be breathing when at the point of contact, but as long as they're breathing after they've been revived in a hospital bed, you know, success. You've done your job as a pilot. Look at that shade and light, and absolutely gorgeous. So, let me know in the comments, guys, what you would like to see more of. If you like Flight Sim content, if you like Flight Sim 20, I mean, if you don't like this, what is wrong with you? We will be doing more driving simulator content soon, I promise. We will also be doing more live streams soon, I promise. Not being at 100% recently, so we're getting back to it. But yes, look out for us then. But until then, I'm going to land. Until then, I'm going to land. Before we end the video, let's just land on a random hillside. Let's get back in the old cockpit. As nice as it is watching from... Getting the... There we go. Right, let's find a bit of land to land on. A land landing. There we go. There's a patch there. We can fit this on there, surely. That's a nice... Look, they've got a little path there. There you go. It's a nice viewing point path. If you're ever in the Grand Canyon and you're at this location, which I don't know, so this is totally useless, there's a nice little path there. We can land on that. Let's try and... You see the little path that's going off to the edge there? I'm going to try and land following that little strip and hopefully slowing down before we go off the cliff. We'll see what happens. Why not? Push it to the limit. Okay, let's get the speed off. Here we go. Interesting tidbit here. Survival tip if you're ever in the Grand Canyon. Don't just follow these random paths willy-nilly, because I've heard tales of people following these paths. They think they're following a marked route, and it turns out it's just where water's run down, and they think they're following a path, but they're just following a water bit of stripped out grass from water, and end up going miles off course and then get lost and have to be rescued. So don't just follow past willy-nilly. Pro tip. Thank you. You know, you can thank me Grand Canyon rescue people for providing such a valiant public service that I do on this channel. Right, here we go. Let's land it. Got the speed off here. We are. I want to come in really slow. We're gonna run out of. Where was it? That's what you don't want to hear your pilot say. Okay, I think it was this. 100% confidence. There we go. There we go. There it is over there. Right. Okay, it's not as flat as it looked from the air. Let's go for that. Stall it onto the ground. Oh! Smooth landing! Okay, the ground. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. The ground was not as smooth as I initially thought. My mistake. Lesson has been learnt. And as pilots always say, every flight is a learning opportunity. And in this flight, I've learnt not to try and land willy-nilly in the Grand Canyon. Thanks for watching, guys. Click that like button and subscribe. Until the next one, happy flying and goodbye.